spiritual decline of Judah becomes unmistakable in 2 Chronicles chapter 28, as Ahaz, the son of Jotham, takes the throne. Unlike his father and grandfather, Ahaz rejects the ways of the Lord and leads the nation into idolatry. His reign shows how turning away from God can weaken both a leader and the people under his care. Ahaz is 20 years old when he becomes king, and he reigns in Jerusalem for 16 years. Instead of following the faithful example of King David, he copies the sinful practices of the kings of Israel. He makes idols for the worship of the Baals, burns sacrifices in the valley of Ben Hinnom, and even sacrifices his own children in the fire. He adopts the detestable customs of the nations God had driven out before Israel. Throughout the land, he offers sacrifices and burns incense at high places, on hills, and beneath spreading trees. Because Judah has abandoned the Lord, God allows enemies to rise against the kingdom. Rezin, king of Aram, defeats Ahaz and takes many people captive to Damascus. The army of the northern kingdom of Israel also attacks Judah and inflicts a devastating loss. In a single day, Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, kills 120,000 soldiers from Judah. The reason is stated clearly: Judah has forsaken the Lord, the God of their ancestors. During the battle, Zikri, a warrior from Ephraim, kills Maaseiah, one of the king's sons, along with Azrikam, the official in charge of the palace, and Elkanah, who is second in authority to the king. The Israelite army then takes 200,000 women and children from Judah as captives and carries away a great amount of plunder towards Samaria. However, as the army returns, a prophet named Oded confronts them. He declares that God allowed Israel to defeat Judah because of Judah's sin, but Israel has attacked with uncontrolled rage. He warns them that they are now planning to enslave people from Judah and Jerusalem, even though Israel itself is guilty before the Lord. Several leaders from Ephraim, Azariah son of Jehohanan, Berechiah son of Meshillemoth, Jehizkiah son of Shallum, and Amasa son of Hadlai, support the prophet. They stand against the returning soldiers and refuse to allow the captives to be brought into Samaria. The soldiers leave the prisoners and the plunder before the leaders and the assembled people. The officials then use clothing from the spoils to dress those who are naked. They provide sandals, food, drink, and healing oil for the wounded. Those who are too weak to walk are placed on donkeys. The captives are taken safely to Jericho, the city of palms, and returned to their relatives before the Israelites go back to Samaria. Even during judgment, this act of compassion reveals that God still calls people to mercy. Meanwhile, Ahaz faces attacks from other directions. The Edomites invade Judah and take captives, while the Philistines raid towns in the western foothills and the southern region. They capture Beth Shemesh, Aijalon, Gederoth, Soko, Timnah, Gimzo, and their surrounding villages. Judah has been brought low because Ahaz has encouraged wickedness and proved unfaithful to the Lord. Instead of repenting, Ahaz sends to the kings of Assyria for help. Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, comes, but rather than strengthening Ahaz, he brings further trouble. Ahaz takes treasures from the temple, the royal palace, and the homes of Judah's leaders and gives them to Assyria. But the payment brings him no real assistance. Even in his distress, Ahaz becomes more unfaithful. He sacrifices to the gods of Damascus, believing they help the Arameans defeat him. Yet those idols become the cause of his ruin and the ruin of Judah. He gathers the temple furnishings, removes them, and closes the doors of the Lord's temple. He then builds altars throughout Jerusalem and establishes high places in every town of Judah, provoking the Lord to anger. When Ahaz dies, he is buried in Jerusalem, but not in the tombs of the kings of Judah. His son Hezekiah succeeds him. This chapter reveals that hardship does not automatically lead a person back to God. Ahaz experienced defeat, loss, and humiliation, yet he continued moving further away. Correction becomes meaningful only when it is met with humility. When trouble comes, the wisest response is not to search for substitutes for God, but to return wholeheartedly to Him. The story turns dramatically in 2 Chronicles chapter 29, where Hezekiah becomes king. In the first year of his reign, he reopens the temple, restores its worship, and begins leading Judah out of the spiritual darkness created by his father.